Why did the blonde make her password Batman, Robin, Batgirl, Joker, Harley, Ivy, Denver?
Why?
Because she knew it had to contain 6 characters and 1 capital. Welcome to the greatest DC comic show on YouTube. It's Fanboys Live in the Retro Review. One more time for 2023. On behalf of Tim the Comic Collector, Comic Food 2814, and Tony Fett, I welcome you to today's show. Hi, Tony. How you doing today?
Another great day in paradise. How is everybody?
We're doing well. How about yourself?
Oh, man. Nice and soggy. Nice and wet, rainy here today.
Yeah, getting some of that Halloween weather going on.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Yeah, our Halloween was chock full of snow. We had a massive snowstorm that night. Mother Nature had the calendar completely mixed up. Yeah, but it's great to have you back for another Fanboys, and we're especially excited to welcome a great friend to the show. When I started putting together the 2023 list of people that we'd like to have on as guests, his name was on the list, and it was always a scheduling problem because he had a different commitment. He was on a show that lasted about 2 years. And it finally wrapped. You laugh, but that's true.
It's very true. It's what's
and then
funny.
So in a series of happenstances, so the show happened to wrap up. He unfortunately happened to get COVID, and in a state of deliriousness, I hit him up and said, "Why don't you come on Fanboys this week?" And he was at that right part of just being that far out there that he said, "Oh yeah, I could do that." So he's joining us. It's John's Comics with Kids. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me, guys.
Good. I want to mention too, first time on my channel.
Really?
This is your first. You and I have done many live events together.
Right.
And we've done them on your channel, off of your channel, but this is the first time you've been on my channel.
That's what feels different. Even though Jackson Kirk, he feels like this is normal.
Yes, he thinks it's the Omni X-Men show.
Yeah.
It is. Now, what was interesting for me, the two of you, Tony and John, didn't you two battle each other on a different YouTube show once?
Probably. I mean, maybe on a what's it, Mr. Comics 89?
That's what I thought. Weren't you on the knockout together against each other?
I've done a lot of characters on there, so I don't remember.
I've only done one, and I don't remember.
Okay.
So I didn't know if we had some resentment going or some sparks flying, or we're just taking the temperature of the room as the show goes on tonight.
I always tell
we
Matt,
did. It was so long ago. I don't even remember.
But look at that. I wasn't on the show, but I remembered.
The benefit of losing on that show is you don't have to do another one. That's the real benefit. So there's a lot of like positive to like, okay, I don't have to do another debate.
To show you how popular John is on YouTube, he won on the knockout, Poison Ivy defeating Darth Vader. Now, come on. I know who the Force is with on that match, but you still won.
That's not the shocking one. I think Poison Ivy beating, Skynet was the one that I think was a little more shocking.
Oh.
I could see that. I could see Poison Ivy.
This was the god level Poison Ivy, though. I was fighting for the like one that is like ultimately representing the green, the power of the green.
Okay. All right. So if you're watching us at home on the Rewind, thank you so much for joining us. We're going to have a real fun show for you tonight. In the live chat is John's Comics with Kids, doing double duty with us. Of course, as we mentioned, meow to the Jackson Roy Kirk. Thanks for stopping by today. We have Copy 801, fresh from his remote appearance at the Electric Band-Aid. He stopped by to see us. We have Paul S. And we have Gore Vidal. How you doing, Gore? Oh, not the original Section 8. Let's not talk about that Section 8. And Unruly is here as well. So great to have you folks stopping by, too. I certainly do appreciate it. So we'll have a great time tonight. How was everyone's week before we get started into the DC news? John's, I know yours probably wasn't the best.
No, I mean, I've been quarantined for about 5 days, but I got a lot of time to read, watched a lot of movies, so there was a lot of good positives to it, I suppose.
Yeah. And Tony, how was your week?
It was great. Tomorrow is my last day of work for the year, so...
If you were a duck, your name would be Lucky.
Yes. Yes. But so I'm looking forward to the extended holiday for me. So it'll be
very nice and cool. Great. What's going on news-wise, Tony?
Man, you want to talk about a humdrum weekend? It's towards the end of the year. Probably not a whole lot of news is coming. But one thing I do want to point out: so Netflix released its quarterly top movies. For end of the year 2020, for fourth quarter, I should say. What do you guys think was number one? It is a DC movie. So Netflix has all the DC universe movies now. What do you think was number one?
You know what? I heard a weird rumor that it might be Suicide Squad, not The Suicide Squad.
You are correct. David Ayer's Suicide Squad was not only was it the number one DC movie streaming, but it was number 3 for the total fourth quarter of Netflix. So
wow.
Rumors are flying left and right that not only David Ayer is coming back to the DC universe to do more directing, but it sounds like the Ayer cut is back alive. Revived again. And James Gunn put out a tweet saying no one told him he couldn't make an haircut. So that was pretty cool. Granted, these are all speculations, but hopefully I'll take an haircut. That'd be fun.
Yeah,
I like that movie. I thought it was a great movie. No one else really liked it.
I'm not a fan. I was actually wondering if it was like people were confused as to which Suicide Squad they were watching, and then they were just like, that was because they hadn't seen either one, and they were just clicking, and that's what they got.
It is possible.
People are like that sometimes.
That's true. I like it, and I hope it does well. Maybe I'll take a haircut. Yeah, let's do it. But
speaking, he's got a better version, and he sounds like he does. Then why not have the chance to prove it?
Yeah, he said if he released his version, movie would have been closer to 3 hours.
Oof.
But that's okay. Just the Snyder cut was 4.
Yeah.
So I'd say do it, man. He said it would have made way more sense. Some of the characters had extended scenes.
Sure.
But if you can't make a movie make sense without having it be 3.5 to 4 hours, are you really doing your job?
Well, here's the thing now. Like, when you go to a movie theater, it's an expensive ordeal now. Like,
it is. I'm
okay with a 3-hour movie. I got no problem. I'll sit through the whole thing. Why am I paying more money to see the same runtime? You know what I mean? Back up that runtime. If I'm spending all that money.
If it's worth the time, right? Because that's where it gets tricky for me. Is like I didn't love the Avatar sequel. Like I didn't need that long of a movie.
Yeah.
It was
how long was it?
That one was over 3 hours. Because all of them, that's where he's at. Cameron. Nobody says no to Cameron anymore. So his movies are going to just be long. And I knew people that were like, I just wanted more of it, and obviously it grossed a ton of money. So obviously people liked it and were happy with the length. For me, it's like. It's just got to be the right length for that story so that I'm not feeling bored. Like it's just checking my watch. How many bathroom breaks do I need to run and do?
Oh man, James Cameron should do a Terminator Avatar crossover.
Ooh, combined universe.
Yes. I think it'd be unnecessarily funny.
So coming from a radio background, they just hammer into your head that people have no attention span. There's no attention span. Especially when it comes to entertainment. But then at the same time, too, people are putting out movies that are longer than they've ever been before, and people seem to understand that. So to me, the two don't mesh. Yeah. How can one be one and also in the entertainment industry and the other can't be? So that's one thing that I've always something just don't feel right there.
The logic to theater owners is shorter runtimes means I can run more screenings of the show in a day, right?
Yeah, make more money.
3-hour movie versus an hour and a half movie, it's double the time, right? So I can't put as many screenings in a given day.
That's true.
Well,
I didn't think about that.
If it's 3.5, 4 hours long, I can only run it a few times a day and hope that people will show up.
Well, if it's a big title like Avatar, I feel like it made a ton of money.
That's a huge exception, right? Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, you're right. That's the exception, not the rule. But I don't know. Just make movie theaters like 24 hours now. Like, I'll go catch a 2 a.m.
I mean, it's all digital.
Movie.
Other than the popcorn guys, it's all digital these days at my theater. You do the kiosk and you walk in and it tells you what, your ticket tells you what, where you're going. And
we could have an AI attendant.
Yeah, you could have an AI attendant.
Yeah.
But now everything's on your phone. If you just
pay.
Yeah. Oh, I love doing that. I love picking my seats.
Yeah. So speaking of the DC movies, for those that still haven't seen some DC movies or would like to see or do a rewatch, Tubi is getting some of those. And Tubi is a free app that you can watch on. And already Tubi has some DC properties. They started on December 12th. They have the original Superman the movie as well as Superman 2. They have 1989's Batman and 1992's Batman Returns, 1995's Batman Forever. They have Constantine from 2005. They have the television series Batwoman, Gotham, Krypton, Stargirl, and Swamp Thing. They're already on the app. Wow. Next up is Lois and Clark, The New Adventures of Superman, which is coming on Tubi December 31st. And then in 2024, Tubi has announced that they will get the Green Lantern movie, Suicide Squad, both Wonder Woman movies, the first Aquaman movie, Birds of Prey, and the Emancipation of One Harley Quinn. They're going to get the Batman and Black Adam are all confirmed for 2024 on Tubi.
Wonder if that's Fox owns Tubi. That's right.
Yeah.
What property is that? Oh man, there's a local movie theater here that has Lazy Boys. So they don't have as many people that can attend, but they jack up the price a little bit, and you can almost lay down and watch this movie. Mm-hmm. Very dangerous. Very dangerous.
Yeah.
You are so comfortable, you will fall asleep.
And then you get a 3-hour movie, and it's just a nap, right?
Yeah, right. Man, that's my previous company I worked for paid for everyone to go see Rogue One when that came out.
Nice.
I saw that in one of those theaters, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna fall asleep.
You know what my problem with that movie was? I don't ever remember seeing Anna Paquin in there anywhere.
Who?
Anna Paquin.
It's not an X-Men rogue, different rogue.
Oh, okay, gotcha. That's like
I didn't see Gambit. I didn't see any of them, and I waited.
That was why it worked.
It worked.
I saw a young Carrie Fisher.
A digitized young Carrie.
Yes.
Digitized, yep.
Yeah.
But in reality, she was quite old. That's like one of the only Star Wars movies that, recently that I really enjoyed.
Great.
The rest, I was like,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I thought Solo was the worst one of those. I don't know.
Yeah, Solo could have been so good. And
I've only seen it the one time. I probably need to
same here.
think about a rewatch. I don't know.
Yeah, no rewatch for me. Because it's a DC show.
I mean, I didn't care enough to give it a rewatch.
Hey, Super Russ, hope you're doing well. Happy holidays to you and to everyone. Any other news going on, Tony?
Go over to BCT Collectibles and get some Aquaman foils.
So there's some Aquaman foils going on. So the movie, this is our last show for the year, and the movie's, dropping, this upcoming Friday? Is that correct?
This Friday, yeah.
Do either one of you have plans of seeing it in theaters?
I very possibly might, because I'm flying home for the holidays.
That's right. You're going to Iowa.
Back to Iowa, and I'm going to try to see it in my theater that I grew up with. That's so tiny, it has one screen, like 20 people can see a movie. It's so small, but I'd love to take my wife there to see how I had to grow up watching all these movies. So maybe. Plus, it's an easy sell. There's a shirtless Jason Momoa in it, so my wife's on board 100%.
Yep.
Yeah, she doesn't even know what's happening. But Jason Momoa's in it. She's in.
Yep.
I'm probably going to skip it. I'm still trying to catch up and watch Blue Beetle. I'm probably going to stream that tomorrow. I'm going to be home again tomorrow, so I'll probably watch that.
Okay, good plans.
Good, solid foundation movie.
That's what I heard. Yeah.
Kind of a miss though in a lot of spots.
Oh, okay. I was hearing really good, really positive things, so I'm kind of interested.
I gave it middle of the road.
Okay.
Yeah, but I won't spoil it for you. But
I enjoyed the Flash. I enjoyed the Flash film.
I enjoyed the Flash too.
I love the Flash.
I just rewatched that.
A lot of people I'll talk to felt like the opposite. Like they didn't care for the Flash movie, but loved Blue Beetle. And I was like, all right, well, I like.
It seems if you like one, you don't really care for the other. Yeah.
Maybe that's what it is. We're worried.
Well, if you like the Flash, maybe Blue Beetle, you should just skip it.
There you go. Well, that's why I waited till it's free now, so I can just like fire up my HBO.
There was just some small things I think DC in that movie could have done to just expand their universe. Like, when he's coming home from college, he could have got a text message, from on his phone. Could have just said Ronnie Raymond, like, hey, bro,
sure.
Just connect.
But
those
I think
dots.
at that point they were feeling like, is this going to connect to anything, or are we just going to like consider this part
if
of
anything? It's a nice cameo. Yeah, I think it could have just been a nice little cameo, just a treat. You know what I mean? Just some small stuff like that. I'm a sucker for small stuff like that. Little tiny details. I don't know why.
So, Paul, to answer your question, yes, there was a 3-issue miniseries called JLA versus Titans. But beyond that, if you go into New Teen Titans Volume 1, the Perez Wolfman, issue 4 has the JLA and the Titans fighting. We actually retro reviewed that a long time ago.
He's asking for the JSA.
Oh, JSA. I'm sorry. See if I could read.
Great book. That's a great book.
Let me make you big to there, Tony. Phenomenal. The JSA.
Great.
I don't know if I remember the JSA.
And the New Teen Titans. Very, very good book.
I have a pretty decent, perfect book to slab because of the wraparound.
Oh, yeah.
I have a pretty decent copy, and then I have a real beater that is like a good reader copy.
See, Chris Claremont and Walt Simonson were at Baltimore Comic-Con, and I couldn't justify standing in their lines for that amount of time.
No, I get it.
That one day, but maybe.
But what an iconic book for sure.
Oh yeah, and is this? I think this is the Teen Titans that we're talking about tonight, right?
Yeah.
See, it is. Yes, it is.
I don't know about the X-Men. I don't know if that's a current roster or not.
No crossover tonight.
No crossover tonight. All right.
But we do get lots of ladies with big hair.
Yeah, big hair.
Yes, lots of big hair, because that's
just
what I was looking for.
Just like Dolly Parton, who has big hair and big ideas.
I'm not gonna lie. I thought.
Go ahead, Tony.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No.
I was just gonna say though, comparing Starfire and Blackfire to Dolly Parton really isn't exactly fair, because that's like comparing apples to melons.
There it is.
Well, that and one of them will live forever. The other ones won't. Dolly Parton will live forever.
She's going to live in our memory for all time.
Yeah.
She's the new Queen of England. We're just like, oh, I thought she was already dead. She's still alive? Like, okay. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Like the Beatles. Yeah.
She's worthy.
So no other news, though, right? Before we segue into the retro review?
Unfortunately not. End of the year.
It's kind of quiet, yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of quiet. So maybe next year we'll get some... I'm chomping at the bits for some Superman Legacy news. So I know it seems like everybody's in that movie.
I love the casting so far on that. Everything they've cast, I felt like was good.
I don't really know some of the cast that well. So, like Superman, I never even heard of him. Like,
I've seen some pictures of him that was enough for me to be like, and Lois Lane is such a home run that I'm like, yes, this is going to
Really? I've never heard of her.
I love her. Yeah, she's phenomenal. The Marvelous Miss Maisel on Amazon is so good. And she's basically playing like a 50s Lois Lane kind of almost in her like speedy dialogue. It's so good. So good.
Nice. Yeah, and then we got Nathan Fillion as a Green Lantern, so that's live action. That's what everybody wanted. So
Yep.
It's a shame it's not Hal Jordan, but
it's the wrong one, but yeah.
You'll like it.
Hopefully they don't make him have a bowl cut. We'll be all right.
They'll bowl cut him.
Nice. Well, Tony, if you want to pull up the assist, I'll ask John, because he picked our story tonight. Why did you pick this story arc, or why this one tonight for you?
Well, I mean, it's perfect that Tony held up that slab, because the truth is a lot of what I loved about X-Men growing up all works for why I loved the New Teen Titans as a kid. I just loved that team dynamic. I was a big fan of Dick Grayson, and to see him as a leader was really great. I love the interactions between all the different characters. And so this run, Wolfman Perez's New Teen Titans for me is right there with Claremont and Byrne, Cockrum, whoever else you want to plug in next to him. Like I really do love this era of Titans. And I've been, like I've told you, Ryan, many times, I've been collecting the soft cover like editions. So this is the one for tonight. This is volume 4. And I want to say there's something like 11 of these. They're quite extensive, and most of the ones I've got are signed by Marv, because he does visit my shop like once a year and signs every one of them that is there. And my LCS owner doesn't charge extra; he just throws them on the shelf and is like, if you happen to grab one that he's signed, good to you.
What about that, Tony?
It's pretty cool.
I love Marv.
I've got some Marv Wolfman signatures.
Great,
yeah,
right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Awesome.
And he's always told. Every time I see him, he's like, just give money to, Hero Initiative, and I don't need it.
Oh yeah, every time I've interacted with him, he's got the bucket. You know what I mean? He's got the Hero Initiative on it. I got no problem. He's one. He'll sign for free, but I'll put $10 in.
Very cool.
I have not gone back and reread a lot of these in a very long time, and we have just on Omni X-Men kind of finished the big outer space saga with the Brood and the X-Men, and I thought, this could be kind of fun to see at the same time, because I was telling you, Ryan, like within like just months of each other, they were doing a similar outer space version with the Titans and Starfire, Blackfire head to head. So for me, this was like, oh, let's check in and reread that story that I only have a couple of the issues of still, but I do remember reading.
And to piggyback off of what Unruly is saying, at this time, Teen Titans was the best-selling book that DC had. And at Marvel, X-Men was the best-selling book that they had. So these were the top dogs when it came to comic books at that time.
What year was this? What year did this come out?
82?
82.
Yeah. Yeah. And John, if you want to kick off the first issue in tonight's story, how about that cover?
I mean, it's phenomenal. And, you got the two epic flowing hair redheads going head to head. And I joked with Brian that was like, it's really a question of like, who has the better hair? Because obviously Blackfire, she's got the darker red with the darker highlights, and Starfire's always had this kind of like brown red that's like looks a little more wild and going here. But and Ryan seemed to assume that that's what helps her fly. That Blackfire can't, because her hair is just too heavy, weighted down by all that extra product she's putting in.
That's probably true.
It's all the moose and the Aquanet.
Did I got
Aquanet works in outer space.
It works everywhere.
I forget, what planet is she from?
Tamaran.
Tamaran, that's right. Tamaran.
All right. Yeah. Well, John, you can kick us off for tonight's story. Then this is issue 23.
So I went back and reread 21 and 22 just to remember the Brother Blood saga, because we kind of will get into that here in a little bit. Let me blow this up so I got mine out next to me here so I can see it. But yeah, we're starting off in space. The previous issue had the Hulk 180 of Blackfire, where you basically saw her standing and shouting out her name and I'm coming to get my sister kind of a thing. So here's her first full appearance where she's standing on the bridge, I guess, of the spaceship. We're going to get a lot of alien races and teams up of this species and that species. But this is basically, she is representing the Citadel, which is coming to re-enslave Corey and bring her back to face judgment. So she is sending off a fleet of her soldiers to go to Earth and giving them like the okay to just like raise the land, like just destroy whatever you got to do, find her, bring her back to me. And I love this spread page we get here where you get her eyes on one side, the ships are launching, but she is like just standing there pointing, like, get down there, crush them. Let's make it happen. I do think sometimes Jim Starlin gets all the praise for outer space comic book art, but Perez is killing this. This looks great to me.
This would be a cool poster too. I'd buy that as a poster.
Oh yeah, for sure. And then we also joked, Brian and I joked that it's possible that Corey and her sister, who has the, by the way, hilarious name Commander, because they call her a commander as her title as well. So she's Commander. Like they basically shared one piece of fabric when they made their costumes. Commander got most of it, and Corey just got the scraps that were left. So,
yeah.
Let's go back a little bit here. So, yeah, back on Earth, we have a little bit of drama dealing with what happened with Brother Blood in the previous story arc, where the Teen Titans kind of blew it, and on national television, they were caught attacking this religious cult. And Brother Blood basically let it out to the world that he felt like he was being persecuted by the Teen Titans, even though he had kidnapped several of them and was trying to enslave them or, win them to his culture thoughts. So the Teen Titans came off looking really bad PR. And the district attorney wants to speak to them. And so it's a big showdown. The military's there to try to control the situation. Robin's like, no, don't worry. We're coming peacefully. And we're not here to like cause any like violence, even though they're saying this horrible reporter lady, reporter Snow, or Bethany Snow, was the one who caught them because she's a cult member and she was there recording live when the team attacked to free their friends. So they get escorted in to hear what's going on, and the district attorney, and let's see, what is that guy's name? DA Chase. District Attorney Chase, yeah.
Yeah, Adrian Chase.
Yeah,
and that's his first appearance, and a name that will become very familiar later on in the book.
He dresses like he's Irish, all in green, like a leprechaun top to bottom. The shirt, the tie, the everything, even the vest underneath, all green. It's quite a look. And he's basically telling the Titans, you guys really screwed up. This is a big problem. We believe you, but you have no evidence to back your claims. So you're in a really difficult situation here. And he's going to get away with what he did, which is he faked his death and used his resurrection to prove his religious cult god powers, basically, which happened off screen. he fakes his death, and then in this issue, the next issue, he's alive. Apparently, he's resurrected, and his followers are super happy with it. So he's basically just shutting them down, telling them, look, this is, you guys have to, face the press on this, and you can't make this any worse. This is a PR nightmare, basically, is where he's at. And then, yeah, they're about to go out and face the press and be like, no, we can fix it. We can smooth this problem over. And aliens attack the city. So the spaceships come flying in, and they've got a tool that can control Corey. And they turn it on, and she just instantly feels pain. And then, the city gets attacked. Things are blowing up, and the Titans have to like jump into action because Corey is like flying through the air, just blasting wildly. She can't control what she's doing. She's, damaging property, citizens, whatever. And the Titans are like, what is going on? It's like a switch has been flipped, and they all kind of like run to help her and fight the aliens at the same time. I think I've got everything. So the spaceships are manned by the Citadel soldier guys, which are those like green, scaly, ugly suckers. They end up dropping this like helmet and gauntlet thing down on Corey that apparently like controls and captures her, and they bring her on board their ship. Donna tries to get up there to rescue them, and when she's flying with her lasso, they blast her, and the Beast Boy jumps in there and turns into an octopus and wraps the bad guy up. They're just all struggling to deal with the alien attack. The only one that can catch Donna is Kid Flash, and he does like a tornado with his hands and slows her fall enough that they can like ease her into not dying when she lands. Cyborg, all through this storyline, is typically just kind of a douche and just really angry about everything. So he's jumping in there. He's just like, nope, I'm frustrated. I'm going to like lay some whoop down on these guys, and just starts hitting them, destroying ships and getting all crazy. Amidst all of this, Raven is sensing that there's something bigger going on here. She's trying to understand what's at play because she gets that, her ability gives her that concerning sense of something more dangerous. The aliens were given free reign to destroy the city, so they're just taking advantage, and the soldiers that are there are trying to join in, but they don't seem to be doing as much damage as our guys seem to be doing. And then whenever they capture one of these monsters, it turns to ash and just kind of vanishes. Dramatically. So Raven is connecting to her like spirit, and it is telling her that there's something stronger going on here, and they're trying to figure out when they have a chance to interrogate one of these creatures, it incinerates, and she feels like she must have killed it, but they're trying to tell her that no, it doesn't seem like that's what's happening. Cyborg captures one of their ships, and they want to make sure they can maybe use it to catch up with wherever they took Corey. So he's working on fixing it, but he only thinks it'll fit 3 people, so they're going to need another. This leads them to realize, wait, Corey's ship, the one she came to Earth in, it's still at the bottom of the sea. We dig it up, then we have 2 ships, 3 and 3. We can max out the space on these things. So they dig it up thanks to the help of Aqualad, who's like, I'm not going into outer space. My powers don't work in space. You know me. This is crazy. I'm gonna go hang where I can actually do some good. So he's the only smart one in the crew. The rest of them don't pack spacesuits, food, water. They don't think any of the basics through.
Not a Band-Aid or a shred of toilet paper to be found.
I don't think they have a magical sandwich either on their ships.
No sandwiches. Sandwiches. But they take off anyways, and they're like in hot pursuit. And immediately, like 3 panels later, they're right behind the mothership. I don't know how fast they're going to catch up with a ship that clearly had a lot of headway on them, but they did it. They caught right up. Commander, very happy with this. She's like, oh, good. I can kill them and torture them in front of my sister, but first let me brag about it because that's important. My whole world centers around traumatizing my sister. So she goes in where they've got her bound up, and she's basically just taunting her, showing her like, nope, my Blackfire energy is so much more stronger than yours. I've always been better. I don't know why I need to show you if I know it to be true, but I still need to show you over and over again. You need to go back and be tortured for what you've done, which is basically escaping. The Gordanians, I'm trying to remember all these cultures. We've got the Citadel where they're going back, right? That's and they've got several different cultures inside of there. So the Gordanians, was that their culture? No, that was the green-faced guys, right? Demonica is one of the Gordanians, right? Isn't she one of them?
Yes, but she is part of the Omega Men that we're about to get to. But that is her species, though. Yeah.
Okay. Because there's another set of green guys later that I'm like, the Scions, that I'm like, okay, I got to keep all this straight. I don't know. Too many lizard men. And then, of course, you throw Beast Boy in there who looks just like any of them whenever he wants. So she scratches her sister's face, cat-like drama style. The heroes arrive, and they're trying to figure out how do we get into this ship. And then, boom, tractor beam, you're caught. So that didn't work. That surprise attack thing didn't play out the way they wanted. They bring the team on board and start basically trying to torture them. They have these little rockets they send in that seem to be able to like test them and figure out ways to like beat their abilities, which they take out Raven pretty darn quickly, which was amazing. I was impressed by that. Kid Flash, they slow him down in like some sludge. They blast off Cyborg's legs and arms. They wrap Robin. They just tie Robin in some hoses with Donna, and of course, all the time making poor Corey watch and be sad and upset. Then they flush him out into space. Done. Like that was a very quick way to wrap up the Teen Titans. I'm just going to say it right there. Send them into space. Be done with it. As they're doing that, the spirit, the essence, the dark spirit of Raven wraps them up like in a little blanket to try to protect them. and they are somehow found by the JLA tractor beam that is, from the JLA tower, and Superman's there. And this is my favorite, that panel of Superman. They said, hey, it's Superman. And he says, it was a pleasure, Robin. But look at his face. It's not a pleasure. He's not happy about it. He looks very upset. He looks shocked, downright shocked and upset. But he's like, no, it's a pleasure. He just looks very upset about the whole thing. What is up, Carlito Classico, my man? And he says, look, I've lost pretty much all my powers. I can't help you. Because they're like, dude, go get the ship. It's right over there. Like, you can get that ship in 2 seconds and get her back. You do it. And he's like, actually, I'm kind of sick.
He's got COVID too. He can.
Yeah. He's a positive guy. And it ends with him basically saying, I think I've got an idea, though. And that's kind of where we're at.
So as John said hello to Carlito, we'll also say hi. And then Dave is here as well while we were doing the retro review. So we want to say hi to Dave too.
And I agree, Dave. My favorite part about this was a lot of the action artwork, and I felt like Perez did as he always does, great job of like telling a story panel to panel. I never was confused as to what was happening. I was always wrapped up in it. I may have been confused about which race was siding with which characters as we get into this deeper, but I was never lost in the action, which is a challenge, I think, especially these days with artists.
Yeah. So we got a great cover here for issue 24 with the Titans and the Omega Men. And both sides. Yeah, this is a great cover with Blackfire on one side and Starfire's profile on the other side. One enjoying it and one in obvious torture.
That's what they used as the cover of this graphic novel that I'm reading. They just changed the white to blue in the background there.
I actually like the blue better, I think.
It's a nice stark contrast, the white, but I mean, I get the blue, and it does work well on this for sure.
Yeah, cool. So on our opening splash page here, we have the Titans walking with Superman. Donna's asking Cyborg, because his legs were ripped off, if it hurts, and he says, not so much. It hurts more emotionally, reminding him that he's not all human. So Robin's saying, I don't understand. You don't have your powers? And Superman's like, that's what I said. But if it weren't for some newfound friends, I might have died. And these friends might be able to help you out as well. They are the Omega Men. And as the Titans walk into the room, we get the splash of the Omega Men. And Superman's introducing them. There's Nimbus, Callista, and her husband Primus. There's Harpus, Brute, and Tigor. And the Omega Men are questioning, why aren't we leaving for our departure? What is delaying us here? And Superman says, well, this might not delay you. He introduces them to the Teen Titans and says that one of their members has been kidnapped by the Citadel. And they're like, that's impossible. And they're like, no, it's true. And they tell Primus that her name is Coriander of Tamaran. And he starts to say where the planet is. He's like, I know where Tamaran is. And I actually know a princess of this princess, but we thought she was slain by the Citadel. And they say, well, no, she is alive. At least she was until her sister kidnapped her, and we're trying to rescue her, but we don't know how to get there. And at the same time, they're trying to put Cyborg, reattach his legs. There's a lot of pop culture references in this issue. Like we get one to the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
Yeah.
And so Superman's asking, since you're going back to your star system, can you take the Titans with you? And they say, we are fighting for freedom, Superman, freedom from the tyranny of the Citadel rule. So if the Citadel are holding Corey, then we're going to rescue her.
Yeah.
Or there's going to be hell to pay. So they shake hands on it. It's a deal. That's what's going to happen. We cut to see what exactly is going on with Starfire and her sister. And she continues to monologue a little bit, and she says, it's not going to be too much longer before you're back on the Citadel homeworld, and we have a special treat in store for you. And we're altering the rules of slaveholding, my dear. No more 1 year, 10 years for you. You're going to be mine now, mine for as long as you live. And if you play your cards right, my dear, your life won't be a long one. And that just sets Starfire off, and she's ready to kill her, and her powers are at full force. She's able to bust through the restraints that were holding her. There's some of the Gordons that are attacking her, and she reminds them that she was once their mistress. So to watch what they're doing. Blackfire boasts how she's always been better than her, and Starfire's like, no, you haven't. Not in a fair battle. We've always been equal, but we've never really fought as equals. And then the Gordons are asking Commander, and she's like, hold back. Do you think that I'm incapable of handling this weak fool? And then Starfire's like, you've just ruined whatever I loved. And you revealed our defense secrets to the Citadel. You betrayed us. And then I swore you would die. And Blackfire's like, yes, but as you get angrier, you grow more careless. So she's very happy that she's got her riled. And as they continue to fight, Blackfire hits her with a really good bolt that knocks her unconscious. And then she says, I've monitored you on Earth, and I noticed that you took this name Starfire. Well, I'm going to take a second name as well. But where your heart burns as brightly as the stars, mine is as black as the deep pits of hell. Men fear hell, and all men shall fear the power of Blackfire.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah, so she has named herself. Commander finds out they're entering the Citadel space. On the next page, we get one of those classic Perez splashes. I mean, nobody can do this like he does. And and we find out exactly what this looks like, how many years ago the Citadel was attacked by their mortal enemies, the Scions, and during the war, the homeworld's moon was shattered and turned into a ring of free-floating boulders, and then they started to build and hollow them out and arm them as well. So a small flyer descends from the slave ship, and it's emitting a secret code that's allowing it to enter into the Citadel space. It's very wintry weather here, which Blackfire does not enjoy. There's a guard down there confirming that it's Commander and that she has the slave ship tracker, and she tells her to get on with it because she despites the cold, let her inside. And the guard says, I have my orders. You're just going to wait until the ship comes in to take you to the inner core. And as for this cold, I've been out here for a month already, so just deal with it, lady. And then they don't show it, but right at the very bottom of the panel, it says, a deadly blast of Blackfire's starbolt ends the guard's life. His family will never know how he died.
I love that. And there's a few times where it feels like that, like something was written but not drawn.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, let me just add this.
Yeah. So you're not going to mouth off to Blackfire without consequences, is what they're saying. Right. So we got this cold winter going on, and Blackfire is finally getting admitted inside to see the Lord Damien. And she says, let the Lord know that she is there and that she has a gift. Well, we cut back now to the Titans and the Omega Men, and they're figuring out how they're going to be able to recapture Corey. And the Titans are kind of getting a perspective of being out in space. And, the Omega Men are saying, hey, there's no time for sightseeing. Our very lives depend on everyone working with everybody else. Because if one person doesn't do their job, we have to have complete coordination for all of this, for us to reach our destination, for us to carry this out. So now we see the character Demonia that we were talking about before, and she is part of the Omega Men, and Raven fears her. She senses evil within her and says that she will betray us if she's been given the chance. And Donna says, well, that might be true, but we can't make a move against her. If the Omega Men trust her, then we're going to have to as well. And Raven says, I understand, but I feel we must maintain our guard. And she says, my inner soul trembles as I near her. So Wally has gone through the entire ship that they're on. It says it makes the JLA satellite look like a Mego toy. So another pop culture reference there. And Primus understands that Demonia is holding something back, or she's saying something. He tells her, essentially put all your cards out on the table. What are you saying? Don't harm our guests here, which are the Titans. And she says, she doesn't like them. They hinder our mission. We should destroy the Titans before they destroy us. And Brute says, no, we're not going to. The Citadel murdered my child and sold my wife into slavery. They are our enemies, not the Earthlings, meaning the Titans. And Robin's talking to Nimbus, and he says, just ignore her, ignore what's going on. And they continue to make their way.
That part is hilarious to me because and I don't mean to interrupt. I'm sorry to interrupt.
No, you're good.
I just think they talk about how like this is a finely tuned machine. Everybody does their part. We work together. We're executing things perfectly. And then they're like, except for that bitch. Like she is
yeah, exactly.
She wants
Nobody trusts her. Just ignore her. She's constantly complaining. Everybody knows she's going to backstab us, but we keep her around.
But it sounds like she's essential. Like she's horrible, but damn, she can do the job. You know.
It's hilarious to me.
Yeah,
they all know it. There's nobody on this ship that's like, she's really great. They're all just like, but she does the job.
Yeah,
we all know she can kill us in a moment.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So as we continue, we're at the Citadel now, and Blackfire has told Lord Damon that she brings him a prize, and he says, "Wait a minute, I'm just going to. I got this Skrig to kill."
Yeah.
And he tears them apart, essentially for the funsies of it.
Yeah.
And this Citadel Lord now, Damien, and he's like, I got an idea. Maybe I should take your teeth and wear them on mine. What do you think? And she's like, hey, I want to show you. She's just kind of trying to distract him here. She's like, I want to show you the fruits of my mission. I want to show you what I did. I was victorious. This is my sister. She's been on Earth. And they're like, really? That's the Princess Coriander. And he's like, don't play a joke on me. This is really her. And he's like, if you were lying to me, I'd rip off your arms. Wouldn't that be funny? What a joke that would be. And I think it would be funny. He's like, no arms, maybe no legs either. That's funny, right? And he goes to inspect her. And then he wonders that maybe she would be better with no arms or no legs. And Starfire yells, let go of me. And she, again, is using her powers to the full extent and breaks free for a brief second. But in that process, she hurts Lord Damon, and he does not like that at all. So they decide, let's eat her. Let's cut her into pieces and eat her. So they have a meal going on, and they have her, Corey, inside this tube, and the plan is to fry her for dessert and hope that she tastes good. But Blackfire's like, hey, can I just ask a little favor instead? And then Lord Damien's like, oh, you want a kiss, don't you? You want some lips on lips action. Yeah. And then maybe we stir the spaghetti sauce afterwards. And then, well, maybe he doesn't say that. So, and she's like, no. And he's still kind of set on the idea of, let's fry her up for dessert.
Yes. He's very sadistic and cannibalistic. It seems like he exists just to torture and then to eat people, and he thinks it's all very amusing.
Yes.
And they look like gorillas. I don't know if that's the intent, but they're like gorilla guys.
Yeah. But I also got a very big touch of Jabba the Hutt with him. I don't know if you did either. Yeah. I got those Jabba the Hutt vibes from this character. And maybe it's in the way that he speaks. But anyway, this Scion walks in, and Blackfire is very taken back. Why is he here? They are the enemies. And he's like, well, yeah, I'm from a race that's your enemy, but I serve Lord Damien as loyally as you do. And Lord Damien says, well, you stupid Scion, what type of plan do you have? Why are you interrupting me? And he says, Lord Damien, how about this plan? To ensure that all the vegan worlds are yours, we'll kidnap Zal, the living goddess. And Blackfire's taken back by this. She's like, that's impossible. It can't be done. But Lord Damien's like, that's a pretty good idea. And then he says, okay, then I'll commence operations immediately. By tomorrow, Zal will be yours. Now we're cutting back into the ship with the Titans and the Omega Men. And they're finding out a little bit about Damien, the Citadel Lord. They essentially say he's a murdering barbarian. He's vicious and totally demented. They'll never understand him. He wrestled control over the Citadel homeworld for himself, and then he's succeeded in invading all the vegan worlds. So they find out that the shuttle's ready. They're inquiring who's going to go. The bridge crew's going to go along with the Titans. And then all of a sudden, Oran is there, and he's ready to have his meeting with Zal. And as we're about to find out, this is Zal's son. So the little mini ship takes off from the main ship with the bridge crew and the Titans, and they get onto the planet, and they're looking first for Zal. And, Oran says, where's Zal? And they say, your mother's here. She's been waiting for you. Come with me. And that's when the Titans kind of find out, oh, his mother. That's interesting. Then we get a Wizard of Oz reference from Changeling, Gar.
Of course.
And as they go up, Robin wonders, what is this place that they're in? It feels kind of holy. And they say, this is where Zal reforms. And Donna's like, what do you mean reforms? And they're like, well, you'll see. So they call Zal, her son calls Zal to appear before him. And he says, you resurrected me, mother. You turned me into the angel of death. Deliver me from my eternal curse. And they watch, and the light starts spinning, and this bodily form starts taking place in front of Oran. And it is Zal. And she says, I cry out for vengeance, and you are my hands. So Demoria, she can't even see her because the light is blinding her so much. And Oron's asking, why do I have to deal death to others when it's forever denied to me? Why do you force me to slay your enemies? Why? And she says, because I need a god at my side. He said, but I'm not a god. I'm a damn devil. And she's like, you will do what must be done. You will avenge your mother's death, and you shall do it now. At that moment, everyone inside that area hears, they're in Okara. Yeah, the Citadel demands a hostage or your planet shall be destroyed. We want Zal. Give her to us now. And they're shocked by this request. Then Oran is like, oh my God, he knows that he's going into action. He's like, not again. Why are you doing this to me? My anger is growing. My rage is swelling. It cannot be abated until I have killed. And she's like, I shall be avenged, and you, my son, shall be my avenger. Do as Zal commands. And he knows that he must. So he goes up into that ship that's going to start invading them and starts taking lives instantly. And he declares that the Citadel attacks. It's our duty to resist. Now the battle begins. And Robin says, they have their fight and we have ours. We split up, as we said earlier. And he says, Gar, this is up to you. He's like, can you handle this? And Gar's like, yeah, I can do it. Presto changeo. And he turns into a Gordinian. And they say, don't overplay your hand. We don't know too much about the Citadel. And so his plan is to take Cyborg and Robin and act like they've been captured. That will get them in to where they need to go to try to find Corey. And he says, don't talk unless you have to. And all around them, war is breaking out. And the war is simply to kill. The side that kills, the other side wins, no matter how few soldiers they have remaining. And so war begins. A war to save a goddess, or so some think. And then we see Gar. He's carrying Robin and Cyborg. He gets to the guards and they're like, what's going on? And he says, I have these prisoners that have to be taken to the homeworld for questioning. And they're like, we didn't receive any notification of this. He's like, are you going to let me through or what? And Robin's like, lay off, just go on. And they're about to let him through when they say, actually they do let him through. And he's like, okay, I got us through, and they're like, it almost gave me a coronary. Just don't talk, Gar. So he gets aboard the ship and he says, I got prisoners for interrogation. We must get to the homeworld immediately. When we're done with them, be prepared to take them to a prison planet for extermination. And they're like, the prison planet? Well, that's interesting. Considering the prison planet was left in ruin less than a month ago, we abandoned that world. You're a spy. Tell me who you are, or you shall surely die. And he's like, oops. And that's how our issue ends.
Very unique.
Yes.
So next up is number 25. Again, awesome cover. Looks Definitely. Awesome. Yeah.
I love the way he draws the goddess. It really does. Like when she first appeared with all the crackling, like black dots around her, and so cool.
Yeah, this is really neat. So now I didn't read the other issues. So now my issue makes sense. Because I was I didn't know who the heck was who.
Well, yeah, there's a lot of creatures and luckily, issue 25 helps you out because it gives you this really nice, right down here, this really nice roster of who's who in the Omega Men. And I got to say, out of all of them, I really like Nimbus. I think he's pretty cool. Yeah, really cool power set.
Yeah. I don't know what you call it. Like, almost like turning into smoke.
Yeah.
So, we're in the amongst a big war here. So, meanwhile, that because I didn't know Gar changed into this guy,
Yeah,
I didn't know what was happening.
They look exactly like him, right?
Yeah, I was completely lost. So anyway, so now this makes more sense. So Gar is trying to sneak onto the ship and get down to where it was. We have a really nice Luke Skywalker, Flash Gordon, Captain Kirk, Rocky Jones
references.
Yeah, he's going through everyone like, you got to hear one of these, right? Like, no, of course not. So, luckily, they were able to subdue the guards that were standing in their way. We cut back down to the big, conflict that's happening here. People are dying. Spaceships are everywhere. Cats and dogs are living together. It's just mass chaos down here. This really gives me like Clone Wars vibes.
Sure.
Just this big epic space battle between these two big people here. But I gotta say that the Titans are doing surprisingly well in this battle. I mean, they're for never knowing what these people are, they're doing a great job. Raven's magic is on point. Kid Flash is able to just run through these guys no problem. Cyborg is doing his cyborg thing. But in the middle of this big battle here, Raven gets like this big, like I don't know what you call it, like a feeling, a presence, an aura. Because keep in mind, she's super magical.
I love that panel of her face up close with the light.
Oh yeah,
right here. My God, so good.
Yeah, something about her bangs though.
lots of good hair in this issue.
Yeah, not. And then the next panel over, she has none.
Yeah.
Just to interject for a second, did you guys ever get the feeling like Raven was the older one out of the entire group? Because we really don't know their ages, but I always got that feeling that either that or girl lived some rough stuff in a short time period, which she did too.
That's a good question. I don't know. To me, when I read, I always feel like Donna Troy is the oldest. She's the more experienced, almost like the Titans TV show. Like she's calling the shots really, along with Dick Grayson. But and everyone else just kind of falls in line. But
she might be more wizened, but she doesn't seem to be the one that wants to lead, if that's what you're saying.
Yeah. She's the more experienced, but more an advice kind of gal. But anyway, we cut to the goddess. Zal is here. Is that how you guys were saying her name? Zal?
I mean, XHAL. I mean, who knows, right?
I believe it's supposed to be Zal.
I think Corey has said up to now many times that exclamation, right? She's like, by Zal or whatever. She just shouted out, right? Yeah. But now we actually met Zal.
Yeah, so that's what she was feeling, was the presence of a deity, a god, so to speak. So Zal is here. She puts the whole fight to an end. Listen to me. I command you in the name of Zal. Stop this. You shouldn't be fighting. Her son comes in and says, hey, you told me to keep going. Like, I don't understand. We cut back and it looks like Garfield and Cyborg and Robin are doing their thing. They get to the cold planet here. This part did kind of confuse me. These are supposed to be reptiles on an ice world. So
yeah, there's a lot of weird reptilian species going on here.
Yeah, so it's like, okay, sure, whatever. I guess here I am complaining about my science in the comic.
At least they put on furs, right? They put on furs.
That's true. They do look like
some Wookiees. Of them do put on those.
Like, especially like the little ammunition containers going like across. They look like Chewbacca's. Yeah. But anyway, they finally make it in, and here they are. They're taking out the guards, no problem. Robin seems to know how to utilize these weapons pretty good for never seeing one in a day in his life. So
Yep.
That was pretty cool. We come back to Corey. She's continuing to be tortured by her sister and her cronies, getting information. Blackfire's really enjoying this. She's really. You're right. It does. You're right. What Lasso said about Jabba the Hutt. It does look like Jabba the Hutt with like one of those little fez hats. You see like on a Shriner. So that's kind of weird. But yeah, she's getting torturing her sister. We cut back to Cyborg and Robin here. They're continuing to make their way down to the lair, so to speak, trying to find Corey. They're carrying this guy. I don't know why Cyborg could carry it, but that's pretty interesting. We cut back into space. with the Omega Man and Donna Troy are up there, and the battle kind of concludes. They're saying, "Hey, listen, we got to get to Corey. We have to. We got to get her back. We made this. You promised to help us find her." The Omega Man are kind of having second thoughts here. We cut back to down to I don't even know what planet it is. Back down to the surface, and they make it to the area where Corey is by making like this looks like weird suit kind of thing. I thought that was pretty weird. But keep in mind that Gar is still a reptile. I forget what the name of the species is.
But, the Gordanians? Is that what
Gordanian, it is? Yeah, he's the Gordanian. Cyborg's able to jump on this guy's back, very Princess Leia-like, choking him from behind. And they were able to grab Corey. And Blackfire is finally stepping in. She's raising all kinds of hell. And then is there Zal? That's not Zal. Yeah, it is Zal. Okay.
It's Zal. Yeah, she seems to have given up and has like accepted her fate in some ways.
Yeah, it didn't look like Zal for a second. It looked like maybe a daughter. I have no idea. Looks like she shrunk. But anyway, yes, they got Corey back, and now Blackfire and Zal are still there, and she won't let him leave, and that kind of leaves issue 25 on a whim. Nice cliffhanger.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. I do want to say hello to the man, Chet Scotland, who stopped by to see us. How you doing, Chet? Happy holidays to you and everyone in the chat.
Chet.
Absolutely.
It's Chet in a chat.
Yes.
For those that want to read this, I will say the finale is not in Teen Titans. It's in the annual number 1 of New Teen Titans. So we get this cover, which almost looks like colored pencil or crayon to me. The coloring. It's really
very good.
It's very different. It's very, very different.
But it works.
I like it though.
Yeah, I actually have a memory, if you can just stay on the cover for a second. I actually have a memory as a childhood collector of seeing that in the new issues, because the comic store, which was an hour away from where I lived, they would have the books, about 3 to 4 weeks before they would make them to the newsstand in my little small town. So down there, I remember that's the first time I ever saw that cover was sitting in their new release stands. And I remember thinking, oh, wow, look at that cover, Yeah. So, and it just looks so different too because of the coloring on the cover.
Right.
Made it stand out. It's a great image anyway, but the coloring really made it stand out too.
So I got to call out this cover. Awesome cover. Everything's great. One problem I have with it is Beast Boy. Everyone's doing their big thing. Beast Boy is this tiny little monkey.
Yeah. I didn't even see him. I didn't even notice him until now. He's like that sometimes. That's fine. I read 2 copies because of the cover. When this came out, I was -5 years old. So
yeah. And this is the very first Teen Titans annual of any run.
Oh, really?
This is the very first one. And keep in mind, the book New Teen Titans had been out for 2 years before. They didn't do an annual after their first 12 issues.
Yeah.
It took 2 years before they did an annual. But anyway, go ahead and take it away, John.
Well, it's funny because this was my first time, I think, reading this issue because as a collector, when I was a young kiddo, like I didn't buy annuals. I just bought the sequential issues. So I don't know that I ever knew how this event ended. So this was kind of fun for me to actually read the ending. And we've seen the setup that ultimately Starfire is more powerful when given the right opportunity. And this is it. She's so frustrated now. She's like, look, I'm going to use everything I've got. And you get that amazing spread page here where she's flying up, she's blasting at her sister. Everybody's, chaos is reigning. Beast Boy's now an octopus again. He's like trying to capture guys, trying to use all of his arms to beat everybody up. But for me, I think, Fett mentioned a Star Wars film for the chaos of battle. This gives me like Return of the Jedi vibes where you got like the main 2 characters battling that are related to each other. You got a group of characters trying to like rescue on the surface. And then in outer space, you got this other battle happening. And we're kind of jumping between these 3 different groups that are all in a different conflict among each other. Then we the battle. I mean, it's ultimately a lot of the battle continues is what we're going to get going forward here. Different lineups, different people battling together, and everybody trying to like woo the power of Zal. And you've got Demonia who's there, and she's trying to figure out how to manipulate this whole thing to her benefit and how she can kind of, use the chaos of war to gain power. And a lot of characters are doing that. There's a lot of weird Games of Thrones happening going around here. Like you mentioned earlier, Robin seems to have handled himself really well. He's dropping gas grenades. He's hitting people with batons. Cyborg is dropping rocks down on some of these guys. So they're doing pretty well considering everything that's going on. Meanwhile, the sisters are battling like crazy. It's dawning on Blackfire that her sister is better trained and possibly more powerful than she is, but she still has the ego to feel like, no, I can win this, because she'll get distracted, she'll get emotional, and I'll beat her. So the sisters are just basically pummeling at each other, and Starfire saying, look, compassion's not my undoing. Like, I was compassionate for you, but I'm done with that now. My emotions are done. I'm just gonna kill you now. So they're going back and forth, blasting at each other. Whose energy blasts are more powerful? How do you decide these things? Meanwhile, the Titans on the planet are getting overrun. You got Robin, Cyborg, and Beast Boy against an army, and they're getting overrun, and it's not going well. Even when Beast Boy decides, not to do the chimpanzee move, but to actually go with the elephant and like knock some walls down on these guys. That's a move. Then we have some of the Gordanians that show up, and they start blasting, and they think they've killed Beast Boy. They disintegrate him. We are smart enough to know that he can turn into very tiny things, so he's probably good. The other two heroes dealing with destruction all around them, cave-ins, collapses, and the like. Meanwhile, it looks like the Scion that we saw earlier is making his big play for the throne. He is trying to convince Lord Damien that he can help solve this whole problem and get power back. But you got to give me some control over the battlefield here, because I'll make it work. The girls are out in the snow. It's, obviously that's to Blackfire's benefit, because Corey doesn't have an outfit made for the snow.
She's a little chilly.
It's going to be colder on her than her sister was complaining about earlier. But as they're about to fight, a wall comes up to block them. And it's basically come to pass that all the Citadel characters, Lord Damien, the Scions, the Gordanians, have basically like shut this whole fight down. And they've basically said, we're going to wage a contest between the two of these ladies. The power of leadership, control, and of course the other person's death, all on the line here. And they're forcing the two sisters, to stop wrecking their building and instead take this outside where we can all watch and benefit and bet on it.
Yeah, they're having they're going to broadcast it to all the vegan planets.
Yeah, and gambling will happen.
Yeah.
So we get another great splash page of outer space as all the ships are basically convening, whether to fight or watch fighting. There's a lot of interest in what's going on. I haven't seen these panels in ages, says Chet. So Chet, it's funny, just reading these and talking with Ryan in advance, I ended up buying a 9/8 slab of issue 24 because I love the cover so much, and I bought it for like $60. I was like, I'm taking it. It's a beautiful cover, a beautiful book, and I don't have it in this run, so I just went and got it. So you would have been proud of me, Chet. I was going to keep it a secret, but you're chatting it up, so there you go. As the Omega men are heading in, they're having a little chat, and they decide to tell the history of Zal. So it goes back to when she was a warrior with incredible powers and kind of leading the way, and she was revered and mighty, but she was also the savior of the vegan world and was regarded very, very highly. And so Primus gets interrupted, and they basically say, well, there's another side to the story. Not everybody loved her. And her death was pretty dramatic in battle. And the Scions recovered her body and decided to experiment on it because she's a smoke show. So they decided to just carve her up. They're going to check her out. They took her brain out, and they put her back together again, and they decided to like channel all of her power into an ultimate thing that they hoped to be able to control, but of course could not. And when they unleashed her, planets were destroyed, nations were annihilated. It just created endless sort of havoc. And in the end, they had to create a system to capture her power and lock her in place and treat her more like something to worship and remember, like a statue, than something they can just let go. The one I picked is issue 24. It's the 23 is the blasting. This is it's this cover that I loved because it's got the whole team on it, and I just love it. So after explaining all of that, then they're like, okay, now you got all the backstory. We gave you the history of Zal. Let's go to this battle and see what's going down. They're approaching the world, and they realize there's this broadcast coming from Tamarin, and they're explaining the gladiatorial setup of what's going on. And then they're realizing on the Omega Men's ship, I think it's Brute who's saying, has anyone seen Demonia? It's weird. Like, we can't trust her, but she's gone.
Disappeared, yeah.
It can't be bad, right? That can't be a problem. That girl that we said we don't trust. Whatever. So down on Tamarin, they're hearing the rules from Scion. He's saying this is a battle of physical prowess. You're basically not going to be using your powers. You just got to beat each other in combat. You're going to get these little, like, I don't know, Captain Kirk Spock staffs. You're going to fight with these spear weapons, and we'll just see who wins and how it goes. They're saying that he's gonna let you just do your thing and fight, and everybody's betting and everybody's excited. And even Lord Damien is like watching over the shoulder of Scion and just saying like, I think this person will win because they've got this power. I think this person wins because they're got this strength, whatever. So they're just waging battle plans. Who's going to win between these two amazingly haired ladies? Then they go into it. The battle begins. They're just they're swinging. There's this great splash page a little further down here where you get to see them just going at it. It's so cool. You jump from battle pose to battle pose, hit to hit, really great. And then in the corners you get the like creatures on the planet that are just like, hey, don't mess up my home or whatever. Like they're just like, what are you doing? So I dig that whole sequence. It's a great fight. They're arguing about their drama between each other. Obviously Commander is a big talker, and she's bragging and she's just boasting like, this is me. I've got this. This is not a problem. And Corey's just trying to defend herself and saying like, I'm not going to give in to you. I'm not going to make the fails that I make. In Dave, it's a great symmetrical cover. I told you that's partly why I love it, was the symmetry, but also because it had the whole team right there on the center, which I love. And Corey's doing a great job holding her own, showing her sister that she's got it in her to defeat her. Meanwhile, we see Scion thinking it out, trying to determine how he can defeat Damien and take over the Citadel for himself. And he's basically playing the big con here to try to, doesn't matter which of these girls wins, I'm going to take out Damien and make it all work. Fight going back and forth. And of course, Blackfire doesn't play by the rules. She decides to use her energy and blast Corey. And Corey's like, fine, I can fly, you can't. I'm going to fly you up as high as I can. And then if you kill me, you're going to fall to the earth and splat. That's your choice. So flipping the script on her a little bit.
Without saying it, basically, Commander's going, crazy bitch. She doesn't say that, but she says it,
Oh, you see her eyes popping out of her head. She's like,
she's going to kill us both.
Yeah, I can't kill you now because I know if I do, it's dooming me as well. And so Corey's like, no, this is if you're going to cheat, we're all cheating. Let's make it all happen. Meanwhile, the battle is finally hitting the Citadel. The Omega Men are there. The other Teen Titan members are there. Zal is obviously being held there. So everybody is sort of engaging in all-out war. Then And Demonia is like, this is really not going the way I wanted. I had some plans. This is not playing out the way I want. How can I manipulate this whole thing? And Beast Boy's like, hey, I remember you. You're an Omega Man. Like, let's hook up. Let's make this work. And so he turns into a horse, totally trusting her. And she gets to ride him into battle. And she's like, wow, I'm glad you didn't overhear me talking about destroying everybody. So that worked out for my bonus. And you get to see Robin and Cyborg in captivity, and the guards that are guarding them sad that they can't watch the competition. They want to see what's going on. They're also making fun of Robin's utility belt and how badly storage is used in the belt, because they're like, wow, you need to work on miniaturization on your world. Like, you can store stuff way more efficiently in your belt. And while they're talking, a giant dragon bursts through and eats one of them. And then a bear bursts through and attacks the other one, and it's clearly Demonia and Beast Boy, both apparently in green, but coming to the rescue of our characters. And that's another battle that's going on now. We get Wally finally getting something to do. They give Wally the chance to pilot a ship, and they're saying, look, you're so fast, your reflexes are so quick, you're the only one that can guide us through all of these like floating fragments of moon that are protecting the planet are basically activated when the ship goes through. We will not survive unless someone can pilot us between all of these things. So Wally gets to be like full action pilot here and try to guide them through this amazing, challenging sort of array of weaponry. Down on the planet, the Titans that are free are coming to the rescue and waiting for now the Omega Man and the other Titans to come and help them out. We're going, and then back to Corey and her sister crashing through rocks, and ultimately Corey decides, I scared you with heights, now I'm going to drown you. Flies straight under the water, drops her under, and tries to drown her at the same time. This doesn't work quite as well, but because there's a waterfall coming, and they're fighting while somebody is mysteriously kind of watching from the shadows. And the ladies are like, oh my gosh, there's a waterfall coming. What are we going to do? Let the world. Oh yeah. There are like, I won't kill you if you just admit that I'm better than you, is what Blackfire basically says. Like, admit that I'm better than you. Maybe I'll let you live and we can just end this thing.
That's her kneel before Zod.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. And Corey's like, I'm not going to do this. If you use a starbolt here, no one, what does she say? Sorry. No one will. And she's about to say something. And then, of course, there's a massive explosion right there on the edge of the waterfall. And we just see that boot going over the edge. And only Corey climbing out at the bottom. And everybody watching kind of stunned as she's like crawling her way out of the water again. Let's see here. Oh, there's a series of explosions that seem to be going off at the same time. I can't. Brian, can you remind me who is setting off these explosions? I can't remember.
So that Scion that needed the power.
Yeah.
One of the reasons why he wanted this telecast is because everyone was going to be focused on watching this fight, which would allow them to get into all these different areas and plant explosives.
Yeah.
So that was his hidden reason for having the fight televised.
Gotcha.
It was a distraction.
Yeah. So that's going off, and then the Teen Titans are arriving with the Omega Men. They are attacking, and of course, Auron wants mom. Where's my mommy? He's running around looking for God mommy. Donna is checking on Robin, like, I can't believe you fought all these aliens and all you got was a broken arm. You're pretty impressive. He's like, don't talk to me. I've got to find Starfire. I'm kind of more focused on that. Auron finds mom and is trying to understand what's going on with her. What is her power doing? Because it seems to be breaking free from her, just like it did last time, and could mean the destruction of everybody. She's obviously so powerful that the upper limits of that become dangerous for mortals. And you get some amazing panels here. I love that one on the left where her like face is in yellow and then it's like outlined above or on top, superimposed over almost her with the planets all around. It's very dark Phoenix-y, but obviously this was after the Dark Phoenix saga, but I get some of those awesome vibes. Let's see. We see back with Lord Damon. He basically is starting to realize that maybe something's going on here with Scion and the battle between the brain and the brawn for leadership of the Citadel. Meanwhile, the Titans find Corey. She's unconscious, but Raven's able to heal her as the survivor, the victor. Then it seems to be she that is the winner of all the prize or whatever. And she's talking about, she's sad that her sister was the only family she had left, only to hear her brother be like, yo, I know I'm not wearing very much, but I'm here. And so is mom and dad. Like, mom and dad weren't dead. What are you talking about? Like, we're all alive. You believed your sister. She's never told you a shred of truth. Like, you should check out how dad's beard is doing, because it's phenomenal. Look at that thing.
Jeez, CZ Top is blushing.
Yeah. She took all the fabric and lies to you.
And apparently mom dresses and looks exactly like her, which is dangerous. You're going to blend. Really, that's a lot of concern for all of us. But family is reunited. Everybody is happy to see that Corey is still alive. Glad to see sister is dead, although all they found was a shred of clothing, which means that now she matches her sister's outfit maybe a little bit. They're happy to see her, but they also say, love you. Great to see you. You can't stay. We're still a culture in turmoil here. You are still wanted by the local authorities. You need to leave until this is all sorted out, but we will come back for you at some point. And Robin, of course, says, hey, shoulder to cry on right here. We got you. We're quote, quote, family. Come back with us. Everything will be great again. And that's the end. They board the ship, it seems, and fly home.
A great pinup there of Kid Flash and Robin. Oh, yeah. And
that's not included in my trade. Oh, all the team. Look at that.
Yeah, look at that. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Oh, there were lots of jokes about how Robin was wearing bad attire. About how he's wearing like no pants and his short.
Cyborg kept calling him what? Short pants?
Short pants, yeah.
Oh, that was hilarious.
Also reoccurring through this entire storyline too, and you see it about once an issue, I think. Some of the Titans don't even know after Starfire has been kidnapped if she's even alive anymore, if Blackfire has completely killed her. But you see especially the strengthening of the relationship between Donna and Corey. And you see when they're reunited at the end that it's Donna is the one that's hugging her. And at one point, Donna even says, I have this connection with her and I love her like I love Diana. I am that close to her.
Sure.
So I think that was and they continued to develop that a little bit more too. So
sorry, Jackson Roy Kirk, always a winner.
Yeah.
I love it.
So what are your thoughts about this overall story arc?
I'm a fanboy of Teen Titans and Uncanny X-Men in space. Like I think it's a fun break from the typical stuff they're usually doing. And I like the character of Starfire a lot. So I enjoy the issues that kind of focus on her and that interaction. So this was always very entertaining for me. I think George Perez is made for this kind of stuff too. His action stuff, his outer space stuff, the spaceships, the planets, the moons, all of those kind of things look superior. They're just really top notch. And so in that way, great stuff. It has its drawbacks, way too many species, way too many different kind of creatures and characters that are all, I think they were just trying to do something so epic in scope that I think it could have used some scaling back. And the Omega Men side of it gets almost overlooked because they're so superfluous to so many other things going on there. There you go, Chet. I mean, I would happily talk about it. I think it's a really great read.
Tony, what are your thoughts?
Out of 5, I'm going to give it a 4. It was a lot of fun. The artwork was obviously great, but I agree. This was a nice break from a predictable Teen Titans adventure. This was a lot of fun.
Okay. So for me, I saw a lot of Star Wars vibes on it, which is not surprising considering when this is released. Star Wars in space were the hottest things ever.
It's not surprising that the X-Men were also doing that between
exactly.
Jedi, right?
Yeah, exactly. The art is just, it's solid. But one thing, John and Tony, do you almost get the feeling that I get that you look at this stuff and the artwork is fantastic, but all of this seems like a warm up for when Perez probably at this time in his life doesn't even know he's going to be doing a series called Crisis on Infinite Earths. And this is just a warm up for what he's going to do on that series. And even when, I had that full page splash of the planet, the Citadel with the built up moons that were broken around, all of that reminded me of, that looks like just a warm-up for how he draws Themyscira and the gods when he gets into the Wonder Woman run after Crisis. I mean, it's amazing as it is right now, but it goes to show you how talented this guy is.
Oh, absolutely.
Or was. So it is a little bit wordy, and sometimes it's a little bit, as John said, trying to keep straight who is who and who is doing what, and just a touch of the stuff with Zal. I understand that you need, because if they could have established somehow that backstory a little bit earlier or not as devoted as much time to it, that would have probably played a little better. This felt very episodic or very movie-esque to me in this entire story. It definitely feels that way for me. Out of 5, I'm going to give it 4. And the artwork completely is a 5 just because they packed a little too much into that 5-pound bag is just why I'm pulling back 1 star. But other than that, I mean, that's still pretty respectable.
Yeah, and I think that's probably where I'd put it, somewhere in that same range.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, cool. That was a fun pick, a great pick. And Tony, I think you'd probably agree that we never seem to go bad when we do a new Teen Titans story.
No,
they
usually get a home run every time.
Yeah.
You guys did the Judas contract a while back, right?
Yep. We did. Yeah. And one of my plans for next year, I've said this already, but I'm more than happy to repeat it. It'll be probably springish. We're going to do Who is Donna Troy?
Oh, yeah.
We're going to take some of the different Who is Donna Troy story arcs that have happened through the Titans and a few other books and just do a night of Who is Donna Troy? So I think that would probably be the next time that we do a Titans book. Will probably be that. But I'm looking forward to that. So that's awesome. Great pick tonight, John.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. I love it.
Yeah. But we're not exactly done with the show yet, because at this point, first we're going to talk about our channels and our book show. Then Tony had an idea for something special we can do after that. So Tony, if you want to get started, tell us a little bit about what's going on with your channel and what type of book show you have for us.
Let me first grab a book.
Okay, then I will start and tell you, on my YouTube channel, I have a Justice League Part 2 haul that dropped this past week. There's the back issue of the week YouTube short that drops on Monday morning. So there'll be another one of those dropping tomorrow morning. The one tomorrow will be a little Christmas themed to get us kind of in the holiday spirit, because it almost be here. So check those out as well. Of course, you can subscribe to my channel and Tony, the other Fanboys, and John as well, because the links to their channels are all in the description for this video. And sub up everyone that's in the chat as well. Jackson's a Donna fan like I am too. So, look at that.
Yep. I'm so not on my channel. I didn't even notice the spelling mistake.
I didn't either until he pointed it out. But I think he is I think you've gotten Chet to the point that he so watches that now that
he's self-conscious.
Yeah, he's self-conscious on it now that he'll turn himself in.
Yep. Good.
Yeah,
that's why you don't see me in the live chat. I'm always in the shadows because no one's correcting my spelling when I'm watching the rewind.
Yep. So for my book show portion, since I jumped a little bit ahead, instead of doing a book, I decided to do this.
Ooh.
And instantly, you might notice at the top,
Wolfman there, yeah.
But let's not forget what we got going on the bottom.
There it is. Nice work.
So I got this at C2E2 a few years ago when Mr. Perez and Mr. Wolfman were there. And I do want to mention, too, that the last new comic book day of this month, so not this upcoming week, but next week, they are doing a facsimile of New Teen Titans #1. There also will be the regular, there will be a foil cover of this, and there will be a sketch cover. For this book available as well. So I thought this was a good tie-in. I'm definitely getting the foil cover and maybe the sketch cover too.
Is it like a blank sketch?
Yeah, blank sketch.
Sometimes they call it a sketch and they just take the color and the ink off.
Yeah.
I didn't know.
Yeah, it's blank. So
nice.
So those options are coming out, like I said, not this upcoming week, but next week. So I just thought
the sketch variant could be fun to take to a con.
Yeah. So I just thought that this would be something fun to show as well.
For sure.
Yeah. Tony, are you ready now?
Yes.
Go ahead.
So coming up, not on my channel, but I did a quick collaboration with the Sig Slayers. I don't know if you guys are familiar with them. Coming up on their channel, we did a cool little collab, and it was a lot of fun. We talked about signatures we've gotten through the year, and what we were looking forward to in 2024, and it was a lot of fun. Awesome. I'm gonna drop the channel in the chat. You guys check them out. Give them a give him a signature. Give him a sub. But yeah, we did that. It's coming out towards the end of the year, but definitely stay tuned. It was a lot of fun to do. So I got 2 books to show because I couldn't think of one. What I wanted to do is one back issue that I did this year, or one grail that I was able to grab. So one that I was chasing, I'll show, and then one I found, I'll show as well.
Why don't you save your big grail? We'll do that in a separate segment after this one.
Sure.
Okay.
So I'll show the one that I found now.
Okay.
That I wasn't chasing. It wasn't. I mean, it was always on my radar, but I figured I'll never able to see it. And that was Dr. Fate and Our Man.
Great.
That's a great book.
Got it for first. I thought it was a mistake, or maybe the cover was detached or something. But nope, the guy just wanted to unload it, so I was happy to unload my wallet and pick that bad boy up.
That's phenomenal.
I want one of those.
That was a mistake. Happy mistake find. So
those are the best kinds.
They are.
Yeah. What's going on your channel, Tony?
I'm out the rest of the year, so nothing for 2023. Definitely looking forward to 2024 with coming back with a vengeance.
Okay, cool. John, what do you have going on with your channel, and what did you bring for a book show?
So for right now, I've got a live stream on Tuesday. We'll be talking about Uncanny X-Men issue 182, which is a key kind of rogue storyline where you kind of get what happened to her and Miss Marvel. So Claremont fans, I'll be doing that on my channel on Tuesday night at 6 o'clock Pacific. So that's the main live stream I've got going on. I've got shorts I drop every few days. I've been reading Deadly Class, so I've been dropping a lot of shorts, just finally getting to the end of Deadly Class and things like that. So you can look for those to appear on my shorts reels or whatever over there. As far as the book, I got this book. I was very excited to go into my shop, and they bought a huge collection of just like amazing books, and they sold all the epic grails, the Hulk 181s and the Avengers ones and all those kind of things. And I was going through the other boxes, and I saw this book.
Oh yeah.
And I was not hunting this book. I was not hunting for this book, but I saw it. I knew obviously the key for Donna Troy, but for me, I always felt like this was the first Teen Titans because it's the first time they use the name Teen Titans. They have a team up issue, obviously, right before this in the previous Brave and the Bold issue where you get Wally and Robin and Aqualad. But for me, this was like, I saw this and I was like, yeah, I need to pick that up. So that was the big book I got out of the one that my collection, the collection that my shop had purchased, which was huge collection.
Nice. That's a good one to get.
Yes.
I remember I got my copy at a Half Price Books.
And I messaged you like immediately after grabbing it. I was like,
yeah,
that's an awesome find for half-price books.
yeah.
Yes, that was a great find.
Yeah,
it's
that
like a yard
was.
sale, pretty much.
Yeah, that was a long time ago though too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So Tony, you had an idea for us, a little something extra since it's our last show of the year too. Tell us about that.
Yeah, we were just talking. We always do a book show, and I wanted to see what you guys, what was your best back issue pickup, of the year, and I'll show mine. I saw this book everywhere, but I was a stickler. I really wanted the condition. I was chasing the condition, and I got lucky. I found it at a super local convention to me, local seller. So I'm very happy to add this one. Everybody knows that I like magic in the DC universe. It's one of my favorite things. And I've been chasing this grail for a while. Yeah, I could have eBayed it, but I really wanted it to mean a little bit extra. So I wanted to stay local. And I did. I managed to complete it in a super high grade. And that is the Doorway to Nightmare, first Madame Xanadu.
Ooh.
So finally got this one. Been chasing it for a long time. Like I said, I really wanted to keep it local, keep my dollars. And my LCS, unfortunately, could never get a copy that I was really comfortable buying.
Sure.
And it's, this isn't like a super expensive key, but more sentimental than anything.
Sure.
Really wanted to complete the Justice League Dark. So that was
nice.
my pick.
Jeez, Jackson.
Nice. John, how about you? What was your big back issue purchase of the year?
I got a lot of the biggest books I was expecting to get this year, and I got a couple right behind me here that easily could have made the list, but I'm gonna go with the one that wasn't a gift that I went out and kind of like hunted down for myself, and I've been working to get this book for a very long time, and I ended up finding a seller that had on Instagram that I had been following a long time that had this and had Black Panther's first appearance, and I kind of had to like start a payment plan, and so it's several months of just kind of like, here, no, trust me, I got a down payment in, and here's the money coming, and so this was like the biggest purchase I've ever done of those two books, and I love that's got the date stamp, and it's Christmas Eve.
Really?
December 24th, 1963.
Oh wow, that's cool.
So, little Christmas Eve beauty there from Marvel. So there you go, Jackson Roy Kirk. A Marvel book for you.
That's a weird way to spell Justice League. I've never seen
it
begin with an A before. Must be another language I'm not familiar with.
Right?
Yeah. And for you diehard DCs that look at that book and go, that's the first Silver Age Captain America.
There you go.
I knew it was a Captain America. I just couldn't figure out what.
And he joins the group. So, incidentally, in Justice League in issue 4, they had a member join their group, and that's in their issue 4 too. So, how ironic. We got it. Chet's got a question for you.
Oh, it's not my oldest comic book. I have like a Golden Age Archie comic, and so I definitely have older books. But it's I don't collect a lot of Golden Age stuff. So there's a couple of war books that I want to get that I think are really amazing, beautiful art pieces, and I do have a bunch of like Nick Cardy Aquaman, which I think is a little bit ahead of the Marvel stuff that I have. So that I collect just because of the Nick Cardy artwork for Aquaman.
Yeah.
Stunning.
Yeah. Very cool. For me, when I look back over some of my purchases, and I didn't want to do an AOK because I never want to rank an AOK one higher than the other because they all have different meanings for me for different reasons. So taking all of those completely out of the running, I looked through and I was very happy with some of the books I picked up this year, but I've always been the proponent of a book is good even if it's not a key.
Yeah.
If a book's good, It doesn't matter if it's a key or not. And I didn't get as many like key books as I have in previous years. But one that I did get this year that I'll just say that this is going to be my pick was Justice League number 2.
Ooh.
Because I already had a Justice League number 1. So get a Justice League number 2 then.
It's you're right. It's not like a key in the same, but it's a key because of its age. And it's a key because it is the second printing of the Justice League. So
yeah,
in its own way, it is a key.
Yeah, and the cover's still attached to it, and all that stuff too for a book this old. So I was happy to get it, and I got it at a price that I was very comfortable with and very happy with. And overall, it's still a book that you just don't see out in the wild all the time. And I will say I didn't find it in the wild. I ordered it online, not from eBay, but still,
Well, the rarity of that book would be pretty hard to find in the wild.
Yes. Yeah.
So Chet just posted his list for Santa.
Good luck.
Yeah.
6. That's a good.
Obviously, if he doesn't get it, he's been naughty.
We know that to be true. This guy.
Yeah. But yeah, some good books there. What are you guys chasing, or are you actively chasing anything for 2024 in terms of a back issue? Tony, what about that John Constantine that you get teased about nonstop? Is that something that you are actively looking at or not?
I've been actively looking for it for a long time, but
okay.
I really want the quality of the book. I've seen some sellers like, several $100s, and it's like maybe a 5.0. Like, get out of here, man. Like, I'm not doing that. But yeah, I would love to stay local like I did with my Madame Xanadu book. I would love to find the quality and the price. So hopefully some stars align again and I pick one up. But overall in 2024, what I'm looking for, I'm meeting Jim Lee for the first time. So
nice.
That's going to be a lot of fun.
Sure.
Met Jeff Johns for the first time this year. So
nice.
That was a lot of fun. So looking forward to keeping the tradition going and continuing with Jim Lee. So we'll see.
That's cool.
Yeah, very nice. What about you, John? Is there anything you're actively looking for or chasing? Or
I mean, you and I have talked a little bit about Avengers versus Justice League runs and trying to finish some of that. I need issue 3. That's going to take me all the way, I think, through to issue 15. So if I got an issue 3, I'd be really far along on that run. And there's a couple more I want to get before I stop the first maybe 20 or 25 issues of the Avengers. And then I'm almost done with my Secret Wars 9-8 set. I'm missing just issue 11, which, I don't want to pay stupid prices for. So I just kind of wait until I see a decent one that I can bid on or whatever. But so those are the issues that I'm probably most actively looking for.
Cool. So obviously, I'm working on this Justice League run, but outside of that, I really kind of would like to get a Comics Cavalcade Golden Age issue. And they used to publish, for the first 30 issues, they published them seasonally, actually. So 4 issues a year. And they had Wonder Woman, Green Lantern, which is Alan Scott, and The Flash, Jay Garrick, in solo stories in there with one cover that kind of tied to the holiday or theme that it was. And I have all of them in reprint form, at least the Wonder Woman stories in terms of the Golden Age omnibuses, but I just like to have an actual copy of one. And if I could do that, that'd be pretty exciting, I think. Yeah. So maybe we'll see if it happens. I'm definitely open to it, but if it doesn't happen, that's okay too.
That's great.
So, and Chet is saying, always looking for a Stan Lee signed. There you go.
These are the ones he got.
These are the ones he got. Okay. Oh, awesome. Yeah. Nice.
He completed that signed run.
Yeah.
All of his books have Claremont and Stan Lee's signatures.
That's pretty impressive.
Claremont Byrne era, basically.
Yeah. And Jackson Roy Kirk just reminding Chet that, Santa and Satan are spelled pretty similarly. So be careful who your list gets addressed to.
Yep.
And that autocorrect, always double check that. So, and just to autocorrect, I will let you know I am never saying duck when I'm typing. So, but that brings us essentially to the end of our 2023 Fanboys Live in the Retro Review. And I just want to say what an honor it is to end on a show with friends. Every week
Yes.
I get to spend it with friends. And John, I didn't know we would actually even get you in this year. We kind of thought it was going to be a next year thing, but it worked out to the benefit. And thank you for spending some time on my channel. And even to the fanboys that aren't here tonight, your friendship means the world to me, and to everyone in the chat. Even if you're watching on the rewind, you're certainly included with that. And I wish everyone a happy, successful, healthy, and awesome holiday season. And I look forward to some of the trouble we can get into together in 2024. So looking forward to that. So
Always.
Yeah. Anything else you guys want to say? Hey, Ben.
We will see you all next year.
Yeah.
And hopefully many more afterwards. So
Exactly. John, anything else you want to say?
No, this was a blast, and anytime you want to do another storyline from New Teen Titans, you just hit me up, and I'll bust out the trades.
Sounds good. You guys take care of yourself, and we will catch you next year. Bye.